So what I'm going to make today is a mung bean soup, or a porridge. It's just labels. In Chinese, there's one word for the liquidy type of stuff, and we're going to call it mung bean soup. So this is something that's really good to have during summertime. If some of you may know that in Chinese medicine, there's a distinction between the hot and the cold. And during summer, a lot of us tend to feel really sweaty all the time. If you're one of those people who always screams, the air conditioning is not turned down low enough, and you probably need to cool yourself down a little bit more. And this is a great way to do so. So it's really easy. This is really all you need. And water, of course, but we all have access to water here, right? So we'll start by taking just 1 cup of mung beans, and they look like this. So it's not green beans, even though the literal translation is green beans. These are really small little beans that they're in dry form right now, so they have to come in these little packets. Okay, so we're going to take about 1 cup of these into a big pot. First thing to do is to really rinse them, just like you would rinse rice if you were boiling a pot of rice. We're just going to add some water. So we don't need a whole lot of water here, just enough to cover the beans for about 1 inch or so, because what we want is to use this water to open up all the beans. It takes quite a while to boil these to perfection, so after that's done, you're going to see most of the water evaporated, and we're going to add back in a lot more water to sort of rehydrate this soup. So this is going to go on the stove on high. Alright, so my mung bean soup has been simmering on low for about 20 minutes, and this is what it looks like right now. So as you'll see, all of the water is gone and the beans have really opened up, and this is where we want it. There's no al dente mung beans in mung bean soup. We really need all of the beans sort of slip off their jackets and show us our clear white sides underneath. Alright, so now to continue with this process, we're just going to add some water, and you can add as much or as little as you want, depending on how thick you like your soup. And if you want it as a beverage, then maybe you want to add a little bit more water. If you want it more like a hearty stew consistency, then less water is just fine. So now back up to the stove, and I just needed this to come back up to a boil. Okay, so my mung bean soup has come up to a boil, and I turned it off immediately, and now I've taken it off the stove. I'm really just ready to have a little bit of it ooh, free facial. Okay, so we'll ladle some into this bowl. And obviously if you're in a really hot location, if it's really hot inside and you want to drink this for the sake of cooling down, then it doesn't make sense to drink it like this. You might want to add a few more ice cubes, or just put this in the fridge. This will taste great even overnight the next day. But if you want to have it hot, you can. And you can add a little bit of honey, just a little squeeze. And now it is ready to eat. So, stir it all up. Really good.